Good afternoon, all. You are all welcome to the Organ House again. We are happy to host you again and to have you as part of this series. It's a new year. To start with, I would like to congratulate all of us and also welcome you also to the new year. Compliment of the season to you all. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. Uh, as you know, I am your host and the convener of the Organ House concert and seminar series. The concert and seminar series is a space of artistic, uh, explorative, and performance space where we create a hub for artists, performer, educator, and researcher to engage diverse ideas and to challenge long-standing tradition within the arts and humanities. So we launched the AI and digital music series last towards the end of last year, and today we are happy to continue this particular series. Today, I am happy we have with us today Mr. Korede Omopeloye. Shortly, I will hand over the baton to him to introduce himself briefly. But before that, I'd like to quickly introduce, you know, about or on the discourse that we launched uh, at our last meeting, and how we intend to continue and progress on that particular theme today. So it is still AI music dialogue at the Mountain Top University, where we've explored uh, or by way of expounding or laying a foundation of what we mean by AI and how these ideas of AI is currently shaping everyday life, not only in Africa but across the world. Also, how the concept of AI is challenging traditions, particularly the arts, and within the context, and our own context, majorly within this arts is music research, artistic work, creativity, production, performances, and music education. The latter uh, is the focus for today, and I'm happy to welcome Mr. Korede Omopeloye. So we are going to have a long conversation, more in a kind of dialogue format, and later we are going to have you join us through question and answer. And I'm happy that Mr. Korede will respond to your questions. And we can, don't forget, it's a dialogue. We can always exchange ideas and see how we can navigate this terrain of AI. Mr. Korede, welcome to the Organ House. We are happy to have you today, and it's so interesting having a scholar and a teacher, a long-standing performer like join our dialogue today. Thanks so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you, Dr. Ayorinde, and thank you for all the kind words. Well, I'm Korede Omopeloye, and I'm a pianist, but my most important activity is being a music teacher. I'm an advocate for good education and quality education in music in secondary schools. I also lecture at Muslim Center. I teach African music, diaspora, piano, and music production alongside my colleague. Um, Today's conversation will be an interesting one indeed, in the sense that we really are not going to be talking too much about the theories of AI. But however, we'll be talking about how AI and some platforms can help us take away some loads in our work as music educators. Then we will also go through some tools on digital technology that makes our job quite easy. I'm of the opinion that AI and technology are not here to do any kind of replacement, but they are actually going to be maybe a new member of the band or a new member of the band or some other inventions that makes our job easier. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that short introduction also and providing context for the focus for today. So let's start from somewhere at least. So I think we have two questions here. I have two questions for you. And from these two questions, definitely uh, I'm quite open whatever ways we tend to follow in responding or engaging the discourse. So the first one, which I would like to ask you particularly, is question around the phenomenon AI. So the question is, what is AI? What is this AI, and why must we take it serious, particularly in the context of music education? And perhaps, or let's say, and its relevance to music education performance, anything with music education performance also. Yeah.
Well, we, I know that the last speaker, Mr. Bankole, has really delved deep into explaining what AI is, the section of AI and 40s. But when we talk about music education and we talk about AI, for me, I think it's just an intelligent tool, you know, it's an intelligent technology tool that enhances musical learning. And there are several platforms, that have been designed by content creators, to allow such things to happen. However, when I launch into my, into my presentation, I will give you further explanation about that because I wanted to show us extremes. What was happening years ago, what's happening now. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Okay, then if that's the case, then I think it's then becomes very important to quickly launch into that because we can't wait to
You
see.
can't wait to see
Yeah,
that.
we can't wait to see that.
Thank you.
Deep terrain and deep context to
Yeah.
which approach
Mm.
to which you want to navigate this particular context. So then I think the question then which you can then follow the then question, why do we need digital technology in music education? Perhaps this can help us to launch into your contest. So I think you have the floor. Just
Yes,
take us through this.
I would I would answer that in the course of the concept of digital technology. For me, is quite useful in musical education.
Yeah.
I mean, in certain clients, right? Let's even talk about availability of instruments.
Mm.
You know, and we have tools that can introduce students to the sound of instruments that is not around their locality. I mean, in Nigeria, we have a couple of schools that don't have certain instruments, but digital technology allows them have access to those virtual instruments, so they are not just talking about them in in the random sense as it were. Well, yeah. My question now.
Yes, yes. Okay, I think what we just let's just have you. Let's take us to that level. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's launch into that deeper world and see. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Right. I want to thank you and welcome everybody again. And the topic I've been given to discuss about today is modernizing music education and embracing technology. So for this, we will have a quick recap and overview of AI and emergence, with two videos. Then I will delve deeply into AI platforms, that can aid us in planning our lessons, our lectures, content creation, and curriculum design. We know that all these activities as teachers, they take a lot, and we will see how technology will help us, and AI will help us cut down those times. Maybe it will give us more time to be human to our students rather than just dealing with admin work and the rest. The digital technology for teaching and learning, we will look at tools for that. We will also look at learning management systems. So I'm taking them in this order because the AI platform for planning is what we will use for in our digital technology,
Yeah.
and we're going to put all of them together into the learning management system.
Yep.
However, I have a few things to say. There are three things three pictures on our screen at the moment. Why the cassette tape? You know, in the late 70s to early 80s, some music union in the United Kingdom actually was asking the parliament to pass a bill to ban tape recorders. And it says that tape recorders was taking away skills from musicians. And that was because musicians were recording the LP, vinyl, and tape recorders. Immediately after that, they also asked for the parliament to ban the use of synthesizers. And the reason is that synthesizers is taking away the jobs of string players and musicians, from the orchestra. And we know by now that those things are now fully developed into our DAW, our MIDI instruments. And the funniest one is the internet may be just a passing fad. This is actually a cutout from a magazine in the UK in 2000, year 2000. And they were saying that internet may just be a passing fad, just something for the moment. It's just going to be a passing fad. But you see, this is 25 years later, that internet is exactly what we all live by. But that being said, let's have a look at these two videos. The first one is about the emergence of AI.
While everyone seems to be talking about artificial intelligence these days, it's good to remember that this is not something. In 1950, Alan Turing proposed the Turing test. That same year, Isaac Asimov proposed the 3 laws of robotics. In 1951, the first AI-based program was written. In 1955, the first self-learning game-playing program was created. In 1959, the MIT AI Lab is set up. In 1961, the first robot is introduced into GM's assembly line. 1964 saw the first demo of an AI program which understands natural language. In 1965, the first chatbot, Eliza, was invented. In 1974, the first autonomous vehicle is created at Stanford AI Lab. In 1989, Carnegie Mellon creates the first autonomous vehicle using a neural network. In 1997, IBM Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov at chess. In 1999, Sony introduces Aibo. That same year, the MIT AI Lab's first emotional AI is demonstrated. In 2004, DARPA introduces the first autonomous vehicle challenge. In 2009, Google starts building a self-driving car. In 2010, Narrative Science's AI demonstrates the ability to write reports. In 2011, IBM Watson beats Jeopardy champions. That same year, Siri, Google Now, and Cortana become mainstream. In 2015, Elon Musk and others announce a $1 billion donation to OpenAI. In 2016, Google's DeepMind defeats Korean AlphaGo champion. In 2016, Stanford issues the AI 100 report. In 2016, UC Berkeley launches the Center for Human Compatible Artificial Intelligence. As you can see, AI is not new, but the advances we are making are progressing at an exponential pace, leveraging our ever faster computing power, the explosion of digital data, and the speed of communication infrastructure.
Stop that video there. And by the last statement, it says that AI is not new, but it's allowing for explosion of digital data. But let's have a look because we are already talking about resistance to AI in our educational client here. This is a YouTube video, and if you look at the bottom, it was posted 6 years ago. That means there were conversations about this happening 6 years ago. So most of us think that artificial intelligence is just ChatGPT that was open to us maybe 2 years ago. It just became, it just became open and you can have dialogue with it. But the AI has been there since the 50s, even earlier than that. Now let's now look at another video, the recent research on a platform called VAI only. It's going on at the moment where AI is being taught, the tools and the skills of teaching violin. And this is where it concerns us and why we believe that resistance may be just futile.
Precision of movement is very important. Maybe the wrist being too high or too low, and our AI technology would observe exactly that.
Could you please in the same legato?
I'm working with Irina on a computational platform to assist violin players in learning how to play the violin.
Our project combines the expertise of traditional violin pedagogy with artificial intelligence and machine learning technology. Our aim is to ultimately create software that will be able to provide guidance for all string instruments and even other instruments.
Learning an instrument is a very complex process that involves many components, including the motor system, visual motor coordination, auditory feedback that the player acquires, and of course the instructions that the teacher gives.
You're pinching, pulling the string a little bit.
Usually lessons are on a weekly basis, and in between the student is left on his own to practice. And here we come in. Our system will observe the players using vision and audio and will analyze the playing in order to give appropriate feedback and also to give suggestions on what to practice.
On a human level, the challenge would be to convince that what we're trying to do is not to replace the violin teacher, but to create a virtual teaching assistant.
Other challenges are how do we communicate to the student and what do we communicate to the student. Obviously, we do not want to overload the student cognitively, and we have to give feedback that is appropriate for the virtual environment.
Our team is the recipient of the prestigious Maryland Innovation Initiative Award, an award that allowed us to conduct an entire academic year of intensive video sessions with young players, digitalizing.
You can have a look at the videos later. But what we can see from those two videos is that one, the conversation around AI, right, and digital technology isn't new, and it's really is going, beyond what we think it is. It's going beyond just typing information into a chatbot and getting information back. We now also know that these AI tools are using professionals to create content. Yes. Right. But from that video, it addresses one of the major questions which we have been facing. What happens to the human side of this? And it has been said to us that we don't think anytime in the future AI is going to replace us as teachers or as musicians, but we need to embrace it as a tool that we can use. What are the benefits of what are the uses of AI in music industry? We know that early application of AI included composition of simple melodies using algorithms. We know that the advancement of machine learning allowed computers to analyze audio data, and generate music in real time. We know that the use of AI in music production has led to creation of virtual musicians and AI-powered instruments. I could quickly show you one of those examples at the moment, and one of those examples is a particular chord generator called chord. Like I said, this conversation isn't really about going into theories, as it were. It's about showing us what we've been using and how we can use them, and see that these things are really not nothing we cannot use. However, we should look at them from a point of view where they are tools we can adapt. So this is just one of the simplest you can come across. This is called code at codify.com. And let's say I have a class at the moment and I just want to create something absolutely new. All you need to do is get on this particular platform, you know, say you want to create a song and you have all of them main intro verses, you say create empty and you ask AI to generate some progressions for you. It's going to do that for us now. While it's doing that, you may be wondering that what do you need this for? I know that sometimes during my during my lessons when I'm teaching maybe keyboard harmony or teaching secondary school students, I could get stuck and I just quickly need to look for a particular progression to teach them maybe about trial and every other thing. Rather than racking my brain and being frazzled, quickly go to this particular platform and ask it to generate progressions for you. And right there, we've seen the progression has been created for us. Now you can now decide whether you like this or not. But AI has done the first job for you by giving you somewhere to start from. And I think it's right there. So thank you very much. So those things, the AI in music industry is just an intelligent partner. It's an intelligent partner that can help us, to collaborate more with our colleagues anyway, and it helps us generate music in real time. Now, but what are the roles of music in AI in music education? I think I'm going to put them in two groups. Then after discussing this particular section, we are going to delve into some tools that we can use. For me, the advantages of AI in music education is that it allows for personalized experience for students. Gone are the days, well, not gone are the days, it can still work, but gone are the days when one size fits all. Yes, I mean, you get into a classroom. I mean, this is what we face every time in secondary school. You have a piano teacher get into a secondary school to teach, and only one pianist in the class, and other students are playing guitar, trumpet. Now you are stuck. You find out that you keep on planning your lesson from the pianist point of view, neglecting the other aspect of the students. But with an AI platform where you can put information of your students into that platform, it can help you to plan out individual lessons for those students. And we may think that we are spoon feeding them, but eventually we realize that every student has a learning style. And AI can help you design something quickly for that. Then you can now begin to manipulate that to fit your immediate situation. That's for me one of the advantages. Another advantage is that immediately it can help you analyze the progress of the students. I mean, if you use Google Classroom, for instance, I was looking at some like students' results just during the holidays, and immediately I could see something was wrong. Because immediately I mark and impute their scores, Google Classroom analyzes it for me. Then I realized that the average of the classroom was like this. But towards the end of the middle of December, average was going down. I couldn't have seen that immediately. It would have taken longer for me to start creating rescue mission. Like, what could be the problem? Why is the average of my class going down? It could be something you could miss. But AI being there is monitoring that for me. It's doing that for me. And another thing also is that we may assume that because we are musicians and we have music background, we always assume that everybody in our class have got a music background. You know, and therefore they can have some semblance of music. But in real terms, you come in real time and you find that most of this, some of them don't, right? In that case, what do you do? How do you give them an immediate experience of music, right? AI comes to the rescue. It helps you. You ask them what kind of music they like. You input that information into any of your AI generative tools, and it brings the music to them. Disadvantages. Every that's a third law of motion, right?
Yeah.
For every action, there is always a reaction.
Definitely.
And disadvantages for me is it may at the moment lack the touch of emotion
Okay.
and connection and in music instruction. Maybe it's not transient yet. It may, but at the moment, for me personally, I think that's one of the disadvantages. I also think that reliance on creativity on AI may limit creativity and spontaneity in music lessons. The other app I just showed us now. Immediately I played that progression, I didn't like it. That's why I didn't bother playing it again. So for me, it's not displaying my kind of creativity, but it may be useful for people that require immediate use of that. Now, nuances at the moment, and I keep on saying at the moment because the way it's developing is really, really fast. If we were rejecting internet in 2000, and it's
2000.
and it's now 20 years ago. You remember also when street lights was first brought into England, the argument was that it's going to disrupt the way God has planned day and night. And everywhere now, you want street lights everywhere.
Yeah.
So at the moment, you may not be able to fully understand and interpret the nuances of music expression. No, that for me is the benefits and the disadvantages of AI. Now that is said, let's talk about something that was told to me by Mr. Banfo. my first position as a music teacher in Atlantic around 2004, 2005, I can't remember, but in the mid 2000. It was like, Korede, you know what? I have this book. I think you should read it. It's a very tiny little book, and I can never forget the book. And the book was titled Teaching as Applied to Music. That's the name of the book is as a big title, Teaching, but the subtitle is as applied to music, and it was written by Educator. So I opened the book, and the first thing she said is this: if you want to teach somebody something, it's always better to start from where both of you know and go from there. So rather teach the sound before the symbols. So for me, if I'm going to teach music now, I don't go ahead and say treble clef or just say project. I get you used to the sound, and I can tell you, okay, we can use this symbol to represent the sound. So let us delve into platforms, right, that can help us. All of us know curriculum planning. All of us know lesson planning. All of us here know, everybody here know content creation. So that is the point where we are all coming from. So that's where we are all coming from. We know content creation, we know how time consuming that can be. We know lesson planning can be time consuming. And even the funniest thing is curriculum can just be a whole lot of work. You have to get this textbook, get experts to get that together. But let's look at certain platforms that can help us do that. Can you project that, please? So we have several, right? But I'm going to zero down onto three of them: Magic Schools of AI, EduAid, and Almanac.
Okay, let me interrupt you a bit. So this learning platform, are they specifically for lower primary, upper primary, secondary, or are they also applicable to higher education, particularly undergraduate level or postgraduate level?
Yeah, funny enough, the reason I even chose, well, there are several, but I zeroed in on these three because there are options for post-secondary, college, and undergraduate.
Okay.
So there are many, many platforms, but this particular three, allows for what they can adapt, into post-secondary, college, and undergraduate.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
Yes.
Okay, let's continue. Let's
Okay.
see. Yeah,
So
thank you.
I understand. I put into consideration that even though we mention music education, the policies, anyways, will always come from the professors down from the universities to secondary schools. Anyway, so we will dive into one by one into this. I'm not going to take too much time into all of them. When the slides, when this conversation is over, I'm going to submit the slide to Dr. Ayorinde, and I have some video instructions there that can help people guide people through if you need to go through them. Magic school. You see that picture there, the corner at the corner of the bottom, the corner picture at the bottom right. That's eventually most of us when it comes to planning content. We are up and down at night thinking about what do I need to do, what do I need to do. But we know that Magic School AI has come to our rescue. At least, even if it's just to create some content for us. So let's quickly dive into it and show what we can do. I think it's best thing, no need for talking any longer. Now it's just showing off how this thing works. So of course it's going to ask you to log in, do many things. I've already logged in. This is my own, I use them anyway. So these are my own platform. Now you can see at the top you have things like planning, content creations. It can even help you ask questions, intellectual preparations, student support, and you have a direct communications. All right. So for this particular one, like I said in the slide, for this particular one, I'm going to just look at a quick one that can help us. Okay. If you can look at it, choose anyone for us, and we can just explore it.
Let's see
The content planning.
Yeah, content planning is better. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's quite similar, closer to everyone. Content planning. Yeah.
So let's go to content planning. So we will go to academic content right here. I click on it, and it takes me to an interesting page. So I have Dr. Ayorinde here that's going to be telling me what he wants to do. All right, then I will just be inputting it, and we'll see if it comes out with what he thinks. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to select the grade. Okay. Definitely not 12th grade. We're talking about college.
Yeah, college.
So that's where we are. Yeah. All right. How many pages do you want this document to be?
To as simple as possible. Let's do 7, 8.
8 pages.
8 pages. Yeah.
Let's say 8 pages. All right, 8 pages. And what kind of content do you want? Do you want a short story, procedural text, persuasive? What do you want?
Let's do short stories. Stories are quite important.
Okay, short story. Yeah. Okay, let's say short story. All right. About what topic?
Let's talk about Nigerian music.
Nigerian music. I would rather go for now. Let's listen to Nigerian music. Who knows if AI knows about that?
Yeah, let's see.
Or postmodernism.
Yeah, it's called AI. It should. Let's see.
So Nigerian music. Nigerian music. What else do you want to talk about Nigerian music? So you have to also, this is the thing about it, is prompting. Right. Yeah. You're not going to leave everything to AI. You have to give it as much as information as possible. So what else do you want to say?
Let's talk about history. At least let's put into 3 different segments. Okay. We can talk about from between 1950s and 1970s.
Nigerian music history. Okay, let's just put that history from
1950, 1970
to 1970.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Any additional criteria? Do you want it to do anything? To do descriptive?
Yeah, let's do descriptive.
Okay, let's say descriptive.
Always, let's see.
Right, and we just generate. This will be an interesting one if it gives us good information about.
Let's see. Yeah. Interesting. Yes. So, let's go.
And now immediately this is out. It's right here. Can you notice that immediately it tells us Nigerian music history from 1950 to 79, the early years from 1950 to 60, golden age of high life,
Yeah.
rise of Juju and Fuji. It gives you a conclusion almost immediately.
Yes.
But what I like most is at the bottom, it immediately gives you further questions you may want to ask. Like, what are some notable Nigerian musicians from this period?
Yeah.
How did Nigerian music influence global music during the era? Now, you can see content is being created here.
Yes.
The questions you may not be thinking about
Might also pop up.
might just pop up.
Exactly.
Might just pop up. So for me, this is a very, 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 very important, interesting one indeed. I'm just going to click on the other one and say Nigerian musician for the period.
However, let's wait pause a bit. I like this. And I'm happy that we are following this route. So I'm also happy because you have mentioned earlier the caveats, to this kind of approach, which is good. It has its own positive aspects in case of one needs to generate. And you have also mentioned it that it's also meant to be partner in content creation.
Yes.
It's more like dialogue, okay, to help stimulate or point. The question is, isn't it also another way to be lazy, as to create lazy teachers who will not read? There are books on these topics. That's one. The other one is
Let me
okay.
let me quickly answer that before I lose the answer. In the point of preparing for this, because I'm really, really keen about digital technology for music.
Definitely.
I've always been an advocate of not being a lazy teacher. I've always been an advocate of technology being another tool to make your work easier. Not easier, to facilitate your work. So it just does one of the tasks and you are able to do the rest.
Yeah.
Now, for me, if you get something like this, it is just like a prompter to send you somewhere else.
Yeah, that is what it should be.
And if you like, look at what I asked you now. I said to you, Dr. Ayorinde, what do you want to talk about? Nigerian music. The next thing I ask you, what exactly? So if you don't know about Nigerian music, you will not be able to say from the 50s to 70s precisely. So you were able to give direct instruction to that particular platform because you have the knowledge already.
Definitely.
Now it's not going to replace. I don't think we should. Let's not miss it. AI platforms is not going to replace knowledge accumulation for teachers.
Yes.
It may just be able to help you bring out the knowledge and make it easier to bring it out to your students, but it's not going to help you put it over there.
I think we need to really stress that because people tend to misplace this reality that it is what you have within you. It's like playing the organ, playing the piano also. The piano is an infrastructure that when you play, the materials that you have within you are the things that are going to emerge, produce. So it is same thing for the AI. People don't know. People think, okay, I could just put my article, my lesson plan is going to develop everything, and that's what we experience in most cases recently.
I think another thing is maybe I overlooked something. I didn't overlook it. I know that Mr. Bankole did a nice job. These AI platforms, they are machine learning tools, right?
Yeah.
They are learning things also. All right.
Yeah.
So people have information. The people have studied stuff, and they are teaching it what to do. So this information is not just coming from an atmosphere, right? Some people would have taught it what to do.
Definitely.
What to do. So I like I said, it's not going to. It shouldn't make us lazy. It shouldn't replace us. I said from beginning that it should be another tool we can use. It should be another member of our band.
Yeah.
But now you know this story about Nigerian music.
Yes.
But you need to quickly drive out to go home. But you have to get this ready for tomorrow. So you quickly come to this platform, you ask it, it gives you a platform. Then you take this one home, have a look at it, make some adjustments. It has saved you a lot of time. This is what I'm trying to say. So that we don't look like teachers that are worn out all the time. These tools can just be helpful. Another thing I find on this particular platform is let's say intellectual prep.
Yeah.
And I think I like one here, conceptual understanding. I asked it a question some 2 days ago, and I'm going to be asking this question because of, I'm not going to be nothing. I'm going to ask this question because of Dr. Olorozi at the moment. I'm going to say topic is postmodernism. Postmodernism, right?
Okay.
In music. And consider direct ideas on how to help students.
While you are saying that, I think I also need to, by extension, Oluroti
Right.
himself, during the Mr. Evangelist presentation at the first, opening of this AI dialogue, he was also concerned about the same question of hope AI, because in the Nigerian context, according to him, I'm quoting him right now, that people abuse things and they tend to disabuse, issues. That so he was concerned about the fact that AI is going to take people are going to replace AI,
AI will replace
it
people.
will replace people and start thinking for them instead of them taking, AI. They should mediate AI, like as you said, create content for people to think through AI, to use it to navigate their own creativity. But according to him, he was so concerned that from the kind of quoting now in Nigeria is used to, or what he has seen in the past, is that people tend to abuse. That's the word he used. So, which I quite agree to a larger extent with him, because people, apart from being lazy, from this part, or most of the cases we've seen around recently, we overuse. That might be the word, excessive. We are so excessive and verbose about things, so that's just what he was concerned about. But the question is, how do we mediate and how do we still get everything going?
Well, it's let's address that immediately, because while most of us are embracing technology and AI, we have a few of us also that are resisting it, right? And for good reasons also that have been mentioned at the same time.
Definitely.
For me, is that as Nigerians, and I don't want to use that group identity in a
Definitely.
derogative manner,
Yeah.
because who knows who is listening to this. It's that we seldom find out new knowledge beyond the one that is handed down to us.
Yeah.
All right. So somebody just comes and tells you that, okay, if you do this now, it begins to work.
Yeah.
We hardly try to look for new knowledge to add on to that. And that conversation is not only on about AI generally. It's about the fact that from our universities down to our schools and policies, we have to find a way to begin to stimulate our students, to want more, to begin to understand more of critical thinking in concepts.
Yeah.
Right? So I could, thinking in concepts, you ask your students to make a particular concept in their mind, then see if AI can bring it out for you. But you don't want Yahoo teachers also, where you just
That's
have
exactly.
you have a
I think that's exactly where he was driving at the time, where it was concerned about this Yahoo mentality,
Right.
which is also not about entire Nigeria, just a particular component.
I agree with you. So we're looking at the other one that says conceptual understanding, and we've chosen a very a trending topic at the moment. That's an in-house job, postmodernism. And I said, help students overcome misconceptions. Let's see what AI is going to say about this. It's generating it now.
A lot.
And we can see tools, immediate tools that this particular platform thinks your students will not understand about postmodernism. All right? Then immediately you are done with this, you can copy it and move it somewhere else. So Magic AI can help in content creation, content creation for your lessons. It can even help you write lyrics about a song. I did something on this day before yesterday. And I told him to write a song for me on postmodernism.
Wow.
He did. a bit troublesome about that. Anyways, let's ignore that and go to another platform,
Yeah.
which I think it is quite useful for us. EduAid.
Yeah, this is fine. Critical thinking aspect and
Yes,
research.
I personally, like I said, this is not forcing ideas down on people, but these are tools that I've tried out. You know, when I used to teach in primary school and secondary school in the morning, then I close at 4, and I rush down to go and lecture at Modern in the evening. I was planning like a madman. During not the pandemic, during Ebola, almost all schools in Nigeria were shut down. 2012 or something. And I remember the school I was working then, parents were grumbling that we were paying so much money. You mean you don't know what to do? Excuse me. You don't know what to do. Then we were forced, to use a platform called Moodle. Something like what we call Flip Classroom. And from then, I have been a follower of digital technology, and from then tools have been created. Then you now see that your students are different when they are in class, and they think differently when they are studying in their private quarters.
Definitely.
And you have to be able to engage them at both times, right? Which is why getting critical thinking into your music education as it were is really, really important.
Very important.
And I recommend this particular platform anyway. Now some of these platforms could be paid for, some of them are free. Just negotiate them. How do you negotiate this particular one? I think this one, if we don't adapt anyone at all, this one we should adapt. So all you need to do is go to the top right here. So I've chosen, you can choose your subject. I've chosen the enrichment. And I've chosen right here post-secondary college level students. Now, if you are confused on what else to do, just create new resource. I'll tell you the order of what you want to do. All right. So, we're going to ask. I think Dr. Fadi is here, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes. Can you give us a topic you want to create a content on? So we have someone in the studio that wants to.
Yeah, we have some senior colleagues in the studio, and we are happy to have them. And since it's a dialogue, it's also important to generate to involve them in this conversation.
We just want to
remember
give
it's
us
a dialogue.
give us a question. So what we are going to give you a scenario, sir. You just give us a topic for that scenario. So now the slides, sir. Yeah. So at the moment we are looking at we have information objectives, we have independent practice, we have corporate learning, and we have gamification. Now, in this independent practice, there's a research project here. So, can you tell us a research project that you want your students to go through and implement? And we will now use AI to help us plan asking the question, arranging it. So, what topic do you have for us? Okay, thank you very much. So now this is an interesting one, and let's check if this particular platform of artificial intelligence has that information we are looking for. So research. Let's now
go to research.
So now we're going to choose research. That's the next thing we're going to choose, research. Then we're going to type in keywords. Now, every time you are dealing with artificial intelligence, especially the one that has chatbots, you should always be keen about the questions you ask it, the prompting you ask it. So you have to be concise, or else it can give you any information. So we can say, let's coin something now. Say postmodernism in music, right? Then Okay, a research and postmodernism in music and let's say conducting, right? This is going to be interesting.
Okay, let's use conducting. Yeah.
And let's use conducting
Yeah.
and its purposes, right?
Yeah.
In posts, right?
Yeah. Postmodernist thought.
Postmodernism,
Postmodernist thought.
okay, postmodernist
Thought.
thoughts in music, right?
Yeah.
We have to guide it to say
Yeah,
we have to
exactly.
guide it to say
Exactly.
in music, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So when we're done with that, the next thing we say we add to workspace. What is this guy going to give to us now?
Let's see.
And it's quite interesting, isn't it?
Of course.
So now the hours and hours you're going to spend thinking about research questions, thinking about what you're going to do to your students, in 30 seconds, it's brought them out to you. Not only brought them out, it's also telling you, your students, what other things you want to be done
You
with
want to
this.
check exactly.
One research question is there. What are the key characteristics of postmodern music and how do they influence conducting techniques?
Mm-hmm.
So you see, your simple thoughts, and by arranging a good, what's it called, prompt into this particular edu aid now,
Generate.
within 10-20 seconds, it has generated good questioning and even tells you your research slide, what we need to do. You know what? We can go further and enhance it.
Yeah.
You can go further and enhance it and tells you what other things you need to do. You know, you go on and enhance it, and you can keep on pushing the boundaries. Like I've been saying this, modernizing music education, embracing technology is not taking away traditional teaching.
Definitely.
No, neither is taking away our traditional way of bringing information, our traditional way of adding new knowledge. But I'm saying that when we embrace technology, right, we may just be able to see things from another point of view. We may just be able to find another way to do things differently from the way we've been doing them. I mean, there's something as boring as year 4 students telling the year 1 student that wants to come into Mr. Korede's class. Week 1 is always twinkle twinkle little star, and everybody is already preempting your lesson. So therefore, you really cannot engage. But when you have tools like this that can help you, rearrange what you are doing, not that you're going to change your teaching style, but it's going to give you new tools to approach.
I have something to say.
Yeah.
So, but what in the case? Okay, let's move a bit into the context of higher education right now, particularly undergraduate music teaching. What about courses like music theory, analysis, harmony, or composition that has to do with systematic, layering of ideas, following the development of the curriculum or the years? How do we go about that? Because you spoke, I am asking because you are talking about borrowing the same thing. Because it seems that's how this, not the same, that is what it is. People have a fixed idea of what students must learn at first year, first semester.
Yes.
They must learn for interval, all these things. Yeah. How do we go about this?
Now, like I said, I said that you will not change your content. You will change your approach.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you, please put on the slide. My first approach to this immediately is, I'm taking you to one, is that I've jumped over now. Your question has taken me 3 slides ahead, but it's fine. It's a conversation. Secondary school, primary school. This is an online tool, a technological tool.
Yeah.
That is going to teach your students, the staff, almost immediately in a better way that you can do it. A much more engaging way that you can do it. Before you start explaining to students that the lines and spaces represent notes on the piano, the platform is doing that for you already. It's breaking things down for you. It's doing them. You can assign this. They are modern students. They don't have to be in your class. You can get this done without, look at all the time it's going to take you to be drawing this on the board, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you've thought on something. I'll give you another approach. And please take that off because I want to quickly go into my system.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you another approach. Another approach which is quite interesting is this one. I was teaching some I think it was during the pandemic. Yeah, you can put it on, now. I was teaching the bass clef. I was teaching the bass clef way back. I think about this was year 7, that's JS1. So
Yes, one, yeah.
the concept of this slide, I wasn't thinking about it. You get, it was a particular tool that said if you design your slide like this, it might be useful for your students. And looking at this slide, I don't have to finish the lesson. Once you look at this slide, everything you need to know about bass clef is there anyway.
Right.
So a particular student doesn't need to be stressed. They can stay with this and continue their life.
Yeah.
However, this also allows me to input videos into my slides. Now, these videos, you cannot have access to them because I use another system to do that. So you may not be able to have access to this video. I'm going to go to the next slide. It allows you to put pictures here and there.
Definitely.
So you are approaching students from different points of learning.
Definitely.
So even though traditional music is going on, traditional way of teaching music is going on, we can see the use of technology here. Now, they can begin to do this particular slide, students can write. And when they are writing, you can see it immediately. Nobody else knows. And they can ask you questions.
Sorry, let me interrupt you again. This, there's an important point that you are touching that we also need to quickly. Sorry. Okay, there's a point that we need to quickly also bring to the fore, and that's the idea of inclusion, diversity, inclusion and diversity in learning. In the US, where I work, this is very big in classroom. Your syllabus must reveal all these three. It's three actually: inclusion, diversity, and equity. What does this mean? It's simply a way of seeing students not as equal and yet meeting their needs at the same time. Meeting those needs are not at the class. The preparation for meeting the needs is necessarily not when you get to the class. It starts from when you start designing your curriculum, your syllabus.
Yeah, we have a name for that.
Yeah.
It's called differentiation, isn't it?
Yeah. So the point then is, how do you meet the need of somebody who is very slow, or somebody who is very smart, who could get information easily? And let's go back to education now. Thank God we have educational background. Howard Gardner's ideas of multiple intelligence.
Yeah.
Learning by association, the 5 theories of learning. Yeah. So this for me the basic entry into this idea of equity and diversity and inclusion. But to the Nigerian context, let's bring it to the Nigerian context. How do we, as a teacher, lecturers, professor who engages students on continuously, and these students, like we know the Nigerian context or African context as a whole, does really promote what we call it's a non-equity society per se, or is a society that supports asymmetric power relation where some are very opportune and the others are not too opportune. Then we have somebody from Ajegunle in our music theory class, somebody from Ikoyi, and somebody who has been playing piano from age 5 in the same class. And we want to teach these 3 categories the same within 12 weeks of the term. And we want them to do the same exam. How do we go about this?
It's a conversation, and it's something that when I was the head of the department of where I was working, it's something that I made sure was compulsory. I had the head teacher then, I think her name was Mr. Foster. She was hammering on differentiation. Initially, being a music teacher, like how do you differentiate piano and all those things? and we have certain trainings about it. And I can assure you that even from Bloom's taxonomy, the hierarchy of learning, we also know that um, students have learning styles.
Definitely.
Yes, and you first of all need to understand the students. How you do that, there are several ways of doing that: baseline assessment, doing assessment for learning,
Assessment for learning,
all those things. Yes,
Yes.
assessment for learning, checking which level your students are. But I think that for Nigeria, the first thing we can even start talking about, even without all those theories, is differentiation by resources. I started by saying that the pianist, the piano major, I get into a class and I want to teach 30 students.
Yeah.
The tendency to always plan my lesson
Towards as a pianist
is
so high.
It's so high. And for a singer, all the things, it happens like that.
Yeah.
But have a look at this. The differentiation starts at the planning level.
Yeah.
Right? You know the kind of students you have. Even the color of my slides. Take into consideration dyslexic students. The boldness, take into consideration everybody we are teaching. Yeah. Please put on that slide one more time. On this slide, there are three instructions going here. Right? One is people that can immediately copy and do it.
Yeah.
Right? One is for people that can read text. And the third one is for people that would like you to do it. And as you can see, it's going to be, the video is going to show them how to do it. There's a video already that shows that to you. So that takes you through the process of drawing the base class. Now, what about when you have students in your class, right, that do not understand all these European accents, right? It can also be a kind of barrier. You have just somebody, one European speaking, and you can't understand all the formats in their language. How do you attend to those students in your class? You can actually also embed your own video into your slide. For instance, I had one of such students in my class. So I have to embed my video into this. So now, what I'm trying to say is, I'm going to show another technology we can use. So while everybody is still on slide 1, right, the advanced students can be going to the next slide.
Yeah.
When they get to the next slide, my video is already there giving them instruction so that the advanced student can be moving on while I can focus on those in the class. In this particular one now, I'm reinforcing this. I would like to, and this little things before we go on. I will know that the digital alphabet goes from A now is that the same principle we use for children. It's just that you need to move your F somewhere. So embedding your videos into your slides, these are all very, very good techniques you can use for differentiation. And differentiation in this kind of manner may not be possible if we don't embrace technology. Definitely. Imagine you can actually embed your own videos here. I could ask someone to help me, someone that can teach the topic better than myself, to help me teach it for like 5 minutes. They send the video to me. I can embed the video into my slides. And so when we are talking about all these things, AI and digital technology, they are really quite useful. I only just put this one up because I was going to talk about this particular lesson. Should we just continue with our original slide?
Yes, let's continue with our original slide. Okay. Exactly.
So we've looked at Edu8, and Edu8 has already allowed us to create slides. There's another one which I find interesting here, which I think we can also use, is debate. Debate.
Okay.
Yes, and I like that one because let's pick another topic now, because it's just like I said, this is just a discussion, a conversation for how we can use this simple thing.
Definitely.
So a good conversation we can be talking about is AI in music education is effective. All right. So that's the topic of the debate. I will tell AI to find debate questions for us, and let's see what it's going to do to us right away.
When we are done with this, we have two questions here, or three waiting for us. Just need to
Okay. So you can see immediately it has created for us points to argue pro AI in music education, con AI in music education. So these platforms allows us, like I said, if you look at my slide, it allows us to unlock time. Those time we spend,
exactly,
in planning things that we call mundane, we can assign and use AI as our personal assistant, while we now focus on the human aspect of teaching and engaging our students adequately.
Okay. I think what I would say now is that let's just go in like 5 more minutes, and let's open up. So that will help us. We can now use the slide to respond to most of these. So are you done with that particular slide? Then I want to call.
Yeah, I'm done with that slide.
Yeah. So dear all, thanks so much. At this moment, we would like to open the floor for us to ask questions, particularly things that are very, very germane to this conversation around AI and how we can collectively shape these ideas or empower those who need these ideas, and how it can also reflect on our own teaching across spaces. So let's open up. If you have any questions now, kindly ask. We are going to unmute you, or you unmute yourself and ask your question. Very, very smart. Please, let's not waste time. We have a lot to cover. We are still